Hi and welcome to a cEDH card review for Nashi Shadow Seeker. Now so far we only have a text in a language that I don't understand, but luckily we have a translation telling us what it actually does. So it is a black-blue Dimir colors. For only 2 mana you get a 2/2 Menace legendary creature Rat Ninja Wizard. She actually has some older prints, originally Rat Ninja and then this Sultai version, Nashi Moon's Legacy. Now this one comes with an ability. Each time Nashi deals combat damage to a player, you mill that many cards. In this case it's gonna be 2 the first hit. You may put any number of legendary and or enchantment cards from among those milled into your hand. If you don't, put a +1/+1 counter on Nashi. This means that you have both a Voltron commander as well as a card drawing commander. Now you have to play legendary tribal or enchantment tribal to make this work, or to make her into a card drawing ability. However, there's a lot of flashback spells you could also play, because in the end sometimes your graveyard is your secondary hand, especially if you also include Yawgmoth's Will inside this build. I would also highly like to recommend Praetor's Grasp that you can use to tutor for an opponent's Underworld Breach, and suddenly you can play. You only need to include Brain Freeze, Lionseye Diamond and Praetor's Grasp and you have the entire Jeskai Breach combo basically. You can also play something of a Reanimator deck as long as you don't have legendary Wait, you may put any number of Okay, you can actually play legendary creatures and keep them in the graveyard, because if you do, you can reanimate a Razaketh of sorts. So you can Vamp Tutor, attack, flip Razaketh into the grave and then cast Reanimate on your Razaketh or Villis and then have a blast. It is going to be a little bit tricky to make this into a legendary tribal if this is the commander in Dimir colors. You can still do that because Ye's Wielder of Mysteries is the name, yes. That will win the game as a Thassa's Oracle alternative. You should still obviously play Thassa's Consult inside this build, but Ye's Wielder of Mysteries will also do a good job of being a Thassa's alternative that is a legendary, because if you mill Thassa's that will go to the grave, but Jace will go to your hand. You're also going to be benefiting heavily from Mox Opal and Mox Amber with this commander, because they are legendary, so when you mill them you get them. Legendary lands will also be kinda key, because legendary lands will also go to your hand to make sure that you always have a land drop in each of your turns, so to say. Being on Dimir colors won't hurt you that much. Most legendary lands are usually tapping for colorless, but in this case, as you only need blue-black in color fixing, you should be able to play some legendary colorless lands if you want to increase your hits on drawing cards with this thing. And eventually this thing will be drawing a very high amount of cards. If you've increased her to a 4/4, like let's say you attack and you hit 2 islands, she becomes a 4/4. Next turn you're milling 4 cards, which means that you're going to increase the potential of hitting stuff that will make her grow stronger or put cards into her hand. So this is definitely a self-snowballing commander that also comes into play quite early in the game. Like you can easily have her in play turn 1 with like Lotus Petal, Gemstone Caverns, Crow Mox, Mox Diamond, but you also don't have to play heavy on legendary tribal, because all enchantments will also go to your hand. So that Reanimator game plan like Animate Dead will work great. That's an enchantment. Necromancy, also an enchantment. Mystic Remora, Rhystic Study. Dress Down is usually quite good. Dress Down is a individually good card on its own, enchantment. Copy Artifact, yeah, Mana Stone, Mana Rock basically, pretty okay. The only problem this commander has is that the color identities are only black and blue, which is lacking. One more color of any one would do great here, but still you should be fine. Like you're having a 2 CMC commander on 2 color identities that has Menace and a card drawing function on it, but also a growth potential. Like this will do a pretty amazing Plan B Voltron game plan. And the game will be quite consistent too, like getting this into play early will be very easy. Secondary, if you fill your deck with a lot of cards that are going to synergize by being flipped into by this, you should be able to work through your deck quite efficiently. Like, you're not going to miss a land drop as long as you have a lot of legendary lands. Remember, you may choose to put the legendary land into your graveyard if you don't want to have it in your hand. But if you want to increase your mill capacity, just choose not to put the legendary card or enchantment into your hand. As a finalized review, as I'm always trying to guess the total win rate this is going to achieve in tournaments, as I am calculating data and statistics on various commanders' tournament performance, I'm going to rate this around 21 to 23%. It probably will end up in like a 22, I think, if it sees enough action. Actually, on the other hand, this is a rather low position, and the reason is that Dimir colored entities are struggling somewhat in figuring out a way to win the match. Now, here you have a lot of potential card draw, and you have the fastest console combo package, which yes will be great in this one too, so you should be able to finalize a victory somehow. On the other hand, turns are quite few, like we're only getting to somewhere like turn 3, sometimes 4, and therefore the amount of triggers you might be able to achieve with this thing might be lower than in a casual game environment that have more turns in a game. So if you get this into play like turn 1 and the game only goes to turn 3, you've only attacked with it twice, which isn't that impressive. Like, you've probably milled 2 cards and then you mill 4 cards, so no. When I actually think about that part, this win rate might actually go lower. I guess there's a chance in the world where this will actually achieve something around 19 on its win rate. That's how much Yuriko currently sits on. In the end, I actually think that the commander should be quite okay. I definitely don't think it's going to be something dominating in tournaments, but I think it's gonna be a commander that wins now and then. I hope you enjoyed this video, and thank you so much for watching. As Wizard of the Coast have been printing a lot of more new cards, and more card reviews are coming up. Until then, take care guys, and I'll see you in the next one.